folks? I'm Ultrazilla, and this is an Ultrazilla Live on a Wednesday night. Usually I do these on the weekends, but I like to, accommodate my guests when I have them on. And tonight we have a very special guest, someone I've been following for quite a long time now. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring in Unimportant Steve from the Geek Chest and Super Unimportant Reviews. How are you, Steve?
Doing great.
Nice to have you on, man.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually really cool to be on too.
You know, I was just saying, man, I've been following you guys, you and Arnez, and I was just telling Steve, the reason why I'm doing one at a time is I feel like it's a really good way to focus on, one person at a time. I think that's how I'm going to be doing these from now on. Every time I've had more people on, it gets a little hectic and we can't really focus. So I think this is the way, these Ultrazilla lives are going to go in the future. So hopefully we'll have Arnez on at some point as well. But we're talking to Steve tonight, and yeah, man, I've been following you guys for a long time, so it's really a pleasure to have you on. And we've, been Facebook friends, and, we've been talking to each other for quite a long time. So this is awesome to actually see you and talk to you, and you see me and you talk to me,
There's definitely had too many chances for vocal conversations,
Yeah, it's very, very cool to do. And, especially since I started following you guys, you were doing a lot of NECA reviews, a lot, NECA Godzilla stuff, a lot of Monstart stuff, a lot of other I think one of the first things I saw you guys do was I want to say a Gamma thing, a Gamma review of some sort on Super Unimportant.
Might be one of the Revoltex.
Yeah, I think so. I want to say that was one of the first reviews I saw, because when I was getting back into collecting and I was trying to get all these lines and go back and get stuff, I was looking for various reviews on some of these products, and I'm sure that's how I came across a lot of you guys, early on. So, it's awesome to talk to someone that I've been following for that long, man. This is really cool. And we have a lot, in common collecting wise and whatever. We cover a lot of the same things on the channel. Mm-hmm. And having talked to you, there's stuff that we really don't cover too much on the channel that we're both still into as well.
Yeah, which is quite a bit of that, I feel.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. For some reason, and this is not just us. I've I've talked to a lot of folks, that do this stuff, and whenever it's Godzilla involved, for some reason, that fan base doesn't want to watch a lot of other stuff. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's weird too, right? Because I know growing up, Godzilla was one of the least popular things, especially in school and whatnot. I tend to get picked on a lot because of it, but it was Marvel, DC, the superhero stuff was perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But anytime we've ever tried to put up a review of anything like that, next to nothing. Even though some people would consider it more popular.
Yeah. I still try to mix in a lot, I feel in the last year, I've tried to tone that down a little bit, just because obviously, the more you get views, the more that YouTube is just one of those machines that it kind of feeds itself. You get more views for something, you get more hits, you get more, comments, whatever, and you get more subscribers. It's just it just rolls like that. The algorithm just it rolls people to you in a certain fashion. So it's
almost, sorry, it's almost more beneficial to focus on the stuff that people are into, to kind of hopefully at some point to get your other stuff on there and be able to bump that up and kind of satiate the views in that way too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's been points where I personally had really good views on, say, Transformers, but I wasn't because I had when Studio Series started, I was actually the first person that had any review up of any of that stuff, because for some strange reason I ordered it from Hasbro before Hasbro Plus. I guess it was Hasbro Toy Shop, right? Yeah. And it literally came the next day after I ordered it. I was what? Like, I woke up, the bell rang the next day, and it was what I ordered the evening before. It was insane. So I was just like, oh God, I'm going to sit down and do reviews of these. But I could never capitalize on it because I just wasn't collecting that many Transformers, you know?
Mhm.
So with any of this stuff, it's like you really got to like start pushing him out, you know, to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, and even that helps too with getting the stuff early, because I know that helped Super Unimportant Reviews a lot with like the 2014 Godzillas.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember going to Toys R Us and like a month early, ours put them out. So just like, I guess I'm buying them all. Scooped them up and went and did videos for them, and they were easily like the best viewed videos because again, it's like you're the first person out with them.
Yeah, that happened to me with Pacific Rim Uprising. With Pacific Rim Uprising, when they did the Robot Spirit stuff, and they were like in Toys R Us, like I found them like super fast, and like I had gotten even Obsidian Fury, which is like, you know, a pretty very, very well viewed video for me, you know, like way before anybody had it. So it was like one of those things where like, oh man, this is amazing when that happens. But you know, it's also one of those things it's impossible to keep up on, you know, unless you have like connections in like factories and stuff, you know, which I've seen some folks do, you know, not just in the Godzilla community, but I'm saying like in like, not really. And actually, it's hard to have any contacts in the Godzilla community. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like NECA obviously would send us people stuff. Bluefin sends people stuff. But yeah, you know, like, but it's like one of those things where it's just like, I've never seen like people get stuff from like factories like months earlier, like we seen like the Transformers like community. Like if you ever see like some Transformers like reviewers, like, how did you get that like 4 months in advance of like even it being announced? It, you know, that's some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah, it's like we're lucky if our import package showed up early.
Yeah,
for the most part.
It's like when something shows up like really early, like, you know, that I imported, I'm like, oh my God, stop everything! I have to get in front of the computer, like in front of the camera. It
only took 3 days instead of 5.
So Steve, tell me, like, tell everybody here, like, you know, some of the other stuff that you are personally into that maybe you don't really see on the channels that much.
Some of the stuff that shows up fairly like infrequently is like for instance, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like personally for me, I love the original movies, so I tend to hardcore collect most of the stuff I see. And we still try to do like some of the unboxings just to get them out in front of people. But other than that, there's not really much of a reason for me to really post videos on them in comparison to say like a lot of the Godzilla or even the custom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Another one's Power Rangers. Like I really like the original Mighty Morphin in the first few seasons.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other seasons I've checked out. Those don't really get too much loving. Surprisingly, the Alien vs. Predator stuff does really good. So we tend to focus a little bit on that. Transformers, like I barely ever show anything Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Same with wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling is one of those things that like I haven't picked up in a long time, except for like super recently. I bought those Boss Fight Studios Lucha Brothers, which are awesome, like really great figures, but they're like smaller figures. They're like Marvel Legends size, like Power Rangers Lightning Collection size, which is kind of fun, you know, like if you want to like do like crossovers with those type of lines. But actually, like honestly, like those two figures are like two of the best figures I've picked up this year, and I'm definitely going to review them if I could finish up all the other stuff.
Yeah, they looked really good. There's those Super 7 ones too. I was thinking about, I kind of want to grab the one with like Matt Cardona and I can't remember the other guy's name. Brian Myers. Yeah.
Those guys look pretty cool. Yeah, they do, man. Like I'd love to get some of the New Japan Super 7 stuff. Like a few of those wrestlers. You know, I'm not a big, you know, like I was a bigger fan like maybe 2 years back. Like for like 2 years back, for like 2 years, I was a big New Japan fan. And then I was just like, I'm just watching too much, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely cut down for me a lot in probably the last year. Because for the most part, like especially like WWE and stuff, it's mainly like snippets I see for the most part.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. Like I was, you know, doing the WWE network for quite a while, but like since the beginning up until last year. And then I was just like, I just got to cut stuff out, like, and I don't know. I just wasn't into, how it was in the early days of, our the world situation. So I wasn't a big fan of not seeing it without the crowds and stuff. It was really weird.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's gotten a
it
lot
throws you
better
off.
now. They got, it's really cool now, but
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more unique, I guess is the best way.
I just want to say hello to some folks in the chat. What's up, peeps? Firetizilla says, can't wait for 2 of my favorite fig reviewers. Thank you. Well, we're here. We're here. Let's see. This is oh, and he loves both channels. Thank you. And this is, I'm just keeping this guy right now because he had a question for you early on. I saw it pop up. I'm curious, why did Steve switch from the Geek Chest as his main channel? Not saying that the Geek Chest is worst. I'm actually liking it better than Super. Well, that was something I was going to get into anyway, but since somebody asked, why did you switch over from one thing to the other?
We mentioned it a few times, but Super got demonetized.
Right. Well, I remember. Yeah, this was for everybody else. That was the only reason, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
The Geek Chest, we still monetize, so that's why we're trying to focus on that a little bit more. And Super's kind of been backburnered to be more of like where some of the Patreon videos go.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, folks, like, I've said this before, but like doing YouTube is a lot of work. So, being able to get something back is very good. So definitely understand that. A lot of folks here saying, what's up? Thank you guys for joining us. Not going to go into everybody, but thank you all. I'm just checking to see if there's any questions. Feel free to leave your questions. Steve, I was talking about the studio series stuff. Have you picked up any of the 86 studio series? Is that something you're interested in at all?
Oh, the movie ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a few of them up here. I don't know. Sure. But I got like the hot rod.
Yeah, I just reviewed that one. I mean, I've had it since like January, but like just got around to reviewing it. It's such a good figure, like I like a lot of those figures, man. I like that Grimlock is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the Grimlock's great. I was actually surprised how much I like this one.
Yeah, me too. It's really, it feels awesome in hand, and like, transforming it is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, he's super solid. And then he comes with like, because initially the price kind of was a little off-putting when you first see him, because you're like, wow, he doesn't look that big. But like the amount of accessories he comes with definitely like more than makes up for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been buying some of the Beast Wars stuff, and a bunch of stuff, but I just haven't been able to do anything with them. And then my friend Ben from Ben's World of Transformers got a big box from Hasbro, because he's been around forever doing this stuff. So Hasbro sent him a big box, and in there was a couple of doubles that he already had, and some Lightning Collection stuff. So like Hasbro was like, well, send it to somebody, that's trustworthy. And he sent it to me. So I was like, yay, free stuff. So I got RC in that. And when I was like, all right, well, that was like from Ben, I got to get it up on the channel no matter how it does. So I did RC, and I was just like, it just got me back into like wanting to mess with the Transformers more again. So I'm like, I'm trying to at least get one review out a week of those, just to like burn through them again, because I got a lot of good ones this year, and I want to show them, man. Especially the Beast Wars stuff. Like I'm always saying, I feel like people that like love the kaiju stuff might actually like the Beast Wars stuff. So if I could get them up, that'd be great.
Yeah, they look fantastic. Sadly, I haven't bought any of them, because for the most part, I got like the old Generations or the Masterpiece ones, so I haven't really like had the urge to pick them up.
Right,
since I already got like the giant Dinobot anyways.
Oh yeah, that's
but
right.
If you definitely didn't have it, like the Kingdom one's definitely for sure.
Yeah, and they're pretty good. Zilla Punk Production says Steve has got to watch RPM and Time Force. Are those any of seasons that you like? What kind of Power Ranger seasons?
A lot of the ones I watch is like the original few, so
Yeah, me
Up
too.
the Turbo, Power Rangers in Space, Dino Thunder. Tried to watch some of the newer ones, but didn't really get into it quite that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching Beast Morphers with my son, but like it just kind of tailed off for both of us. Like we just both like just gave up on it, and I haven't seen Dino Fury yet at all. But I try to keep up with Power Rangers because I still love, that original stuff. And with Super 7 doing some stuff now, I'm really like curious to see. They're supposed to be doing like Zords and stuff and Megazords and like action figure scale, kind of like they did with the Voltron and stuff. I think that's pretty cool to get. I'll definitely want to get that. I also have this guy right next to me, the Reaction Megazord, which I still haven't taken out of the package.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
Yeah, it looks really great. I haven't had a chance to do anything with it, but it's that's their first thing that they released was this and some of the Rangers and Rita. I want like as far as this stuff, I'm just gonna get that, but I'm definitely curious to see what they do going forward. I'm also excited about this. Excited about the Super 7 Godzilla Ultimate figures next year. What about you?
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see how they're gonna do that, right? Because you have like they do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones that are more like the Playmates ones, but just more articulated.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of hoping they do something like the Treadmasters.
Oh, that'd be
just like with
sweet.
updated articulations. I think would be super sweet.
Yeah, that would be sweet. And you never know because I think Brian Flynn from Super 7 teased something for SDCC. And it looks like it's going to be either Shogun Warriors Godzilla or like the 70s cartoon Godzilla in some form. I think it might be a reaction figure, but whatever it is, I'm really looking forward to it because those guys have been into Godzilla for a long time. I own a shirt from them from 2005 when I went to San Diego Comic-Con. I bought it from them. And it was a Godzilla shirt of like all the monsters. Like it's really a cool shirt. I still have it. So I'm really excited about that. What are some things that you're excited about that's coming out?
Well, mainly a lot of the stuff. Most of my pre-orders have been mainly like anime kind of focus. So there's a few of the Figmas, especially the Demon Slayer stuff, looks really great. Pretty pumped for those. There's a lot of the pop-up parades. I don't know if you've seen those. The Good Smiles.
I was thinking about getting the Dynazenon ones.
Yeah, they have the two of those. There's like the Yu Yu Hakusho ones. I know I pre-ordered those. The Inuyasha ones just dropped. So you get Inuyasha and Kagome. So that line's actually definitely piqued my interest a lot. And then for the most part of that, it's pretty much like the monster arts. And then the 2019 Rodan. For the X Plus.
Nice. Very nice. I saw somebody said, are you going to get the Mecha Godzilla monster arts?
The monster arts? Yeah. I finally got a pre-order after like almost a week.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I put in a pre-order at BBTS right away. But it's like every place else has had it cheaper than them. So I'm like, ugh.
Oh, another feeling terrified because originally I had to put my pre-order through TF Source, which they wanted 180.
Oh my god!
Because everybody was sold out, right? Because my work schedule, I was sleeping when all the pre-orders went up originally, so I was like, well, shoot. And I'm like, well, I'll just wait for the import sites to get them in, right? Nobody's put them up for pre-order.
No, nothing. You know what? They're still in November. They're still putting up their stuff for November still, Tamashi. So they don't skip ahead usually.
And then so I got mine through Unite.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, Unite's pretty good. I left it at BBTS. I could have gotten it in other places, but I was waiting. I've been waiting for my local guy that I usually get a lot of my stuff from to get it because I get a little discount there. And for whatever reason, like Bluefin is like, if you've noticed, nobody's had their pre-order up at the same time.
Yeah.
They've like slowly allocated amounts to different people at different points. I don't know why they're doing it like this. I don't know if it's a Bandai thing. I don't know what's up with that, but like my guy hasn't even gotten the go ahead to put up pre-orders for it yet.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because I even heard like I don't know, some of the numbers, like people like the stores that are getting them, like the allocations are even like super small for it. Like in like the hundreds.
Yeah, no, it's really, really tiny. So it's one of those things where I'll keep it at BBTS until I could get a different one, because at least BBTS is like easy to cancel.
Yeah.
You know,
so
so
that's really nice about them.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it, and then if I could get a Japanese pre-order, but I have a feeling that's gonna be like gone in a second. So it's gonna be one of those things where like gonna have to stay up really late and possibly not be able to get it anyway.
Yeah, it's like the one benefit of my work schedule is like whenever the pre-orders go live in Japan, I'm usually awake for them.
That's
granted,
good.
You're fighting on the website for like a half hour to get to like the next webpage, but
yeah, I know. Oh man, it's tough. And then like HLJ sometimes puts it up last, so you gotta wait for them. Like if you missed out on Ami Ami or Hobby Search or whatever, and Hobby Search and Ami Ami, like forget it, they go really fast. I think HLJ's pre-orders stay up for like a few seconds longer. But yeah. It's crazy. So, but Mechagodzilla does look good. What'd you think of the movie?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I know some people try to give a little flack on it, but it's like I would say it's my least favorite of the Legendary movies, but I still enjoyed it enough. Like I would rewatch it.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I think it has the best monster action, like monster against monster. Like I think it has the best of all of them. But I think overall, it's like the weakest one. But I did enjoy it for the most part. Like I have a lot of problems with it, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely the best one I feel for like YouTube clips.
Sure.
Like a compilation of the monster fights, it's phenomenal because just like the lighting for like all like the fights are all just like visually like you can see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. And it's not just jumping around like you get with some of the other ones. But the rest of the movie, like the story, just kind of tapers off a bit. For me.
It's got like a lot of big plot holes. Any opinion on the Godzilla singular point stuff? Are you talking about? Well, let's talk about everything, because I know you've gotten some of the figures. I don't know if you're watching the show just yet.
Not yet.
I'm not. I'm watching it till Netflix, so I could get the proper subtitles, whatever. I watched the first episode, but it was completely in Japanese, like that first week that it was up, and then that was it. Like I haven't like searched for subs at all. Have you been watching it?
No, it's the same thing. I've been just waiting for Netflix to pick it up.
What do you think of the figures?
Figures have actually been really good. Like they're really nicely detailed, which is kind of nice to see compared to some of the other Bandai vinyls we've gotten in more recent years. They're definitely more akin to like what we got those Pacific Rim Uprising figures.
Mm-hmm.
I feel.
Yeah, it's like the scaling. I just like that we've gotten a lot of movie monster series stuff. Like I liked the Shin Ultraman stuff. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was really good.
Those were really nice. So yeah, there's I'm glad that that line is expanding more, and because it's more accessible for folks, more so than like Monster Arts and stuff like that. Especially with the whole of that NECA left. Like it's a good spot to be in for Bandai to like plug in more toys right now.
Yeah, and then it was also just like the line that like a lot of us older collectors kind of grew up with.
Yeah,
for the most part, outside of the Treadmasters.
Right.
So I know like going to like my local comic book shop and seeing a few of the vinyls, like whenever they would randomly get it, man, always just made me super excited.
Mm-hmm. No, totally, man. Like I'm loving the output that they've done this year with that, and a lot of the different things they're doing, like classic stuff, the singular point stuff. I can't believe how many singular point figures there have been already. So that's amazing to me. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think the only one thing I have a problem with is like the release schedule's been really weird for it.
Yeah, it's been like, here it is, boom.
Yeah, especially Singapore, it's like he showed up in an episode, he's available now.
Yeah. David here asks, will any of you two be reviewing the CCS Toys Mazinger Z? I didn't get the Gurren login, and I would have gotten that over the Mazinger Z, so that's going to be a no from me, personally.
Yeah, I haven't really watched too much Mazinger, to be fair, so.
Let's see, going down here. I popped this up for a second, but it wasn't the question I was looking for. It's not really a question. I personally think the re-releases of the SH Monster Arts Gigan 2004 means that a Godzilla 2004 Monster Arts figure is around the corner. What do you think about that? A lot of people have been talking about that.
I know they did that poll recently where it was it number one on the poll?
I think it was, actually. I think it was like
him
right
and the Mecha.
Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of makes me think that they are going to be more inclined, if they're going to give us another Godzilla, that it would be that. Though I would feel like at this point it wouldn't be probably till next year they probably announce that thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, at this point, Mechagodzilla is supposed to come out in like December. So I don't think there would be something in between there at this point. But I'd love to see it. I would definitely love to see it. That design I think is really good. You know, if anything from that movie when it first came out, like that I really liked right off the bat was that design. I was just like, I'm into that design. You know, the rest of the movie at first I was just like, but then like over the years, I actually really like Final Wars now.
Oh yeah, I've always enjoyed it because it's just it kind of gives you like that nice like Showa feel for the film, where just like the characters are all like very unique but kind of goofy in a way.
Yeah,
and then you get all the monster fights in it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Alan asks, how excited are you guys about the SH Monster Arts 1989 Godzilla release? Wait, Steve?
I'm kind of at the middle of the road because we had the Triple K.
Yeah. That's my favorite figure from them, to tell you the truth.
It's probably one of the best ones.
You know, so this one, I'm excited about it. I'm not excited about it because it's gonna scale. I'm not a scale nut, so like that doesn't excite me at all. I'm just excited that it's like sort of a new sculpt in the line, even though it's not like a new. We already have an 89. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm excited about it, but like I would have been more excited for Final Wars.
Yeah, because it's more just like I'm excited because it's just something new,
right?
More so than what specific suit it was.
Yeah, definitely. Kaiju Killer says it would have been hilarious if Ultrazilla was interviewing the Zilla puppet.
Oh, do I got him down here? I think he's caning up upstairs currently.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's funny.
Hiding under the table.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Mr. Mister said, what are your hopes for the Super 7 Godzilla line? Do you think they will emulate the Trendmaster Godzilla Wars line? That's what we were just saying. But that would be really cool. We both would really like to do that.
Mainly just because I want to really articulate like Space Godzilla in that design.
Oh, that'd be so awesome. Gabriel says Steve needs to do a Let's Play series of a Monster Hunter World.
I played a bit of it. I've made it to like the second world, and then I haven't bought it on it since.
Yeah, I played
mainly I even buy the monster arts just because how cool the monsters look in that game.
Yeah, I same here. Like I've played some Monster Hunter. Like I've played a lot of the Monster Hunter demos over the years.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where it stops with me. And I bought the two Monster Arts. And honestly, I didn't love either one of them, to tell you the truth. Like I had a lot of problems with my two. I'm getting the next one because that one doesn't have wings, and I'm hoping that's better for me.
Right.
But yeah, I had problems with those two. So it's one of those things. But they look great.
Yeah, I like the Nargacuga better.
Me too.
Outside of I don't know why, but it seems like they're like all the Monster Arts figures, the feet are always like the biggest problems for me.
Oh my god, the feet like constantly coming off.
Yeah, like I did that repaint not too long ago, and it was just like constant struggle trying to get that to work.
Oh my god, I can't stand when things are like that. And this Here's something. Ghost says, I'm about to get the SSSS full Gridman as a companion piece to Dynazenon. I know he got Dynazenon. Is it worth it for 140? No. No. Steve, I know you you didn't like.
No.
I actually got like the box is right here.
The box is the best thing about it.
The box is the best thing about it. I just completed my Dynazenon review. So I went in on Dynazenon, even though I did not like that. But I went in on Dynazenon because it just looked like they learned a few things, and I'm enjoying the series. You know, so it's like I'm gonna go for it. It's better than Gridman. It doesn't have stickers. There's nothing on runners. You know, that was a plus already. As soon as I opened the box, I was just like, okay, everything looks
detailing.
Yeah, it's got the detailing. And you know, like everything comes together kind of simple, but it's got like fiddly bits all over the place. Things fall off of it. I just finished filming my review finally today. Like I've been working on it for like a few days here and there, and it's a long one. Like if anybody wants to see it, it's gonna be up tomorrow night. It's a long form review because
I'll definitely have to check it out on my lunch.
What was that?
I'll definitely have to check it out on my lunch because I'd be curious.
Yeah, it's got some problems. It's got some problems. So 140 for the first set? No way. I can't endorse that set at all. You know,
no,
like,
I knew how bad the figure was going to be when I got my order in, and I was waiting for it to arrive. And the pre-owned price on AmiYami dropped to like $70. And I'm like, I got a problem.
Yeah. Oh man, no, it was no good. Let's see. Like a Judy, and this is so big to read on the side. I'm just gonna read it here. I had to pass on the pre-orders entirely for Shima Mechagodzilla. Bluefin doesn't distribute to Australia, and shipping from America is uber expensive at the moment. So I'm have to chance it directly from Japan in December. You guys don't have a distributor down in Australia?
I know from the few guys that I talked to, it's definitely a struggle trying to get some stuff down there.
Yeah. I
got a buddy that collects X pluses, and he's just like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess like most of my friends down there, like they kind of struggle to order the stuff they want. That's kind of a shame. I would love to see Mezco style Godzilla figure in the vein of their King Kong. That'd be kind of cool. Are you getting that Mezco 5-point set, the Destroy All Monsters set?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, me too. I got into a huge fight with my wife that day too, because I happened to be working in the apartment that day. Yeah. And she knows I get a lot of stuff, right? But she doesn't actually see me pre-order anything. So it's like one of those things where like, you know, it popped up at like 2 p.m. I was like, oh my God, let's go pre-order. And she was like right there. And she's like, how much did you spend on that?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was just like, it was bad. But I would love to see them do like, you know, a Godzilla line. If they have the license to do something, I would love to see them do more. Especially if, you know, if Toho is like opening up, you know, opening the floodgates a little bit, which I feel like they are doing.
Yeah, it's kind of sad too after seeing like with NECA where you couldn't even get anything outside of like the Godzilla that like Monster Arts was also going to be putting out, getting a release. And now you see like Mezco is just kind of putting out whatever. Like everybody's kind of just doing their own thing with them now.
Yeah, I feel like that was from, you know, my experiences in comics and knowing a little bit about Toho behind the scenes because of comics. I know it's mostly just like if you could pay for the licenses, you could do whatever you want. It's one of those things. Like I'm sure, like NECA had probably the ability to do more, but they probably looked at it and was like, well, is Megalon going to sell as much as another Godzilla, you know? And how many repaints can we do of it? You know what I'm saying? It was like one of those things where you probably can't make back your money as good. So I kind of get it, you know? So
Yeah, it's one of those like you're not going to get like 5 or 6 of molds out of Megalon. Like you might be
Right.
able to get like his wings are out, his wings are in, and some extra mouths and stuff. But
Yeah.
other than that,
Yeah, definitely. Mike Zilla says, "What do you think about EVA '01 Mechagodzilla model kit? Too expensive?"
a little bit. Then I'm usually not the guy that's really like the model kit person, anyways. Because for the most part, like when I buy something that I'm gonna want to mess around with, I kind of just want to open it and mess around with it.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit because you've been doing a lot of customs, and it's like more and more, and it's been featured more on the channel. And just talk about how you got into all that and like how that's been evolving for you.
Yeah, because back in the day, I used to do a lot of model kits, and then eventually when I moved out, it kind of fell off. And then for the most part, with like my toy collecting, a lot of the model kits just kind of feel out of place, right? Especially like for Gundam, for instance, they don't really scale with like a lot of the other figures that I have. So for the most part, I haven't really been buying them, but I kind of wanted to do a little bit of messing around. And one of the first ones I did, which I actually still got sitting right here, is this guy.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, the Douglas Gordon. Mainly did him because there just wasn't a figure, and I didn't have anything for him to autograph. And I went to G Fest. I'm like, well, screw it, I'll just make it. So I had like a random Duke Nukem figure hanging around. I had a bunch of old WCW figures, so it's a sting coat.
That's so awesome.
And then the sword was from a Gwenpool. It's like a Marvel Legends Gwenpool that I ended up shaving down to look more correct. And then painted it, went and got it signed, and then kind of was like, well, what else could I do? And it just more or less spawned from there.
That's awesome, dude. Like that's been such a fun part of the channel, seeing like the behind the scenes stuff and the sort of how to's. Do you enjoy doing that stuff like more than other stuff these days?
Oh, I really like doing it. A lot of it's just like it's like a nice little stress release too. Just like you sit there, just paint the stuff, and just kind of at your own time, and it's kind of sort of like when you're like doing the skits and stuff, and like when you put it all together, it just kind of like gives you like that nice like rewarding satisfaction. And then also, especially with doing the commissions now, it's nice to see people when like you're going through the process of showing them like, well, this is how it's going, this is how it's going, and just like how excited they are. And then once you get to the final product, it's always just like gives you that like nice feel good one.
Yeah, definitely. You know, how did you get it? Like, how'd you get into doing that? Like, besides what you just said, like, did you have like any training doing that? Is this all self-taught? Like,
a bit of it's self-taught. I do have an art degree. The thing, so like painting and stuff isn't too bad for me. The thing I had to get into, like with the Space Godzilla here, or not Super Godzilla, is I've never really sculpted.
Right.
So growing up and doing a lot of stuff, like it was mainly a lot of stuff I did was like illustrations and what have you. So that was a lot of YouTube videos, and then my wife is the one that did a lot of sculpting. She's also an art major, so got some like tips and tricks from her, and that's just been kind of like trial and error and just messing around with the stuff more and more.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me and my wife. We're both like, you know, we both are artists, freelance artists and stuff, and like we kind of like, you know, get stuff from each other like constantly. Like, you know, she has made a lot of toys on her own, so it's always something that I'm like always like, you know, if I do have to paint something, and I rarely do because I try not to do that much because I just have so much going on, like, but like there's some point where I'm like, all right, I want to tweak something, and I'll always go get her opinion on it, you know, because she'll have a better, you know, as far as painting goes, she's like incredible. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm always asking for her, and then like anything like computer art based, she'll like, you know, and she's amazing at that too, but like I'm always like helping with the art direction on her end too, so it's always kind of like bouncing back and forth. That's always good to have, you know.
It also it just kind of like gives you like something else to do together too, right?
Yeah, totally, man. So that's good to know. I didn't know that about you. You see that? That's really, I was actually curious about that. How you got into that, because it was just like, boom, you made that, you know, you turned Don Fry there into an awesome figure. And then it was just like, it was off to the races, and, you know, the progression has been really good, man. And we could look at some of that stuff actually. So
I was going to say, even with the Don Fry was a big one because I had to go through 2 heads because the way the joint was, I had to figure out how to get it out of the ball joint. So I tried to heat it up the first time, and I melted the head.
Oh,
I found out don't ever use a heat gun on those.
trial and error, trial and error. But yeah, you got a lot of cool stuff on. Check out Steve if you haven't on unimportant, _ Steve at Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, a lot of these modes are the ones I'm currently working on right now. The Skull Crawler is almost done. And then I finished a Warbed I haven't shown off on there yet either.
Ooh. Nice. This is fun. As someone that's worked on the Red Lanterns comic before. This is
that was a weird one because the guy contacted me. He was like, "Hey, sent me this guy's fan art." He's like, "Can you do this with a GM kit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll try."
That's awesome. That's a cool idea.
The one thing I was sad about is I tried 3D printing the ring, and that didn't work out too well for me.
That doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, that one I sculpted it.
Oh, okay.
But the emblem on the center is I 3D printed those.
Gotcha.
And then we got the beams. I'm currently trying to perfect a bit.
Nice. So this is going to be a big 2021 Godzilla?
Yeah, he's almost done. I realized one part on the dorsal spines, I need to put some more epoxy putty, and then it's just finishing painting them up at this point.
Gotcha. Wait a second.
But he's the spines came from, it was the Jax 2019.
Oh, wow.
And I had to chop all the foot.
Is...
So there's the Rothellos.
Yeah.
He was a time-consuming one. And again, a lot of it was just because of the joints. Just wanted to flop all over the place when you're trying to paint them and put them back together.
Love these colors, though.
Really nice. It turned out way better than I thought. Plus, we tried some new paints on that one.
That's really cool looking. That's really, really nice.
Yeah, because some of the paints on that guy was paying attention. The Beast of the Mesozoic figures. Seeing I seen in the background what the guy's been using to do the prototypes. So I ended up picking up some of that up to try it out. It's actually really good.
That's a really good idea. This came out great. Oh, there they are. Pieces.
All disassembled. Oh. And then some of the stuff, we haven't really done much with him. He'll pop, that stuff will pop up on Instagram. There's the Kamibas.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, he was a Dope Pope file that I got off of him and printed out.
Oh. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really great how especially giant monster stuff, how many files you can actually find on the internet. Because there's that. There was the Muto here, which was also one of his.
Wait, you printed that Muto?
Yeah, this guy's 3D printed.
That is awesome.
I had to do a bit of sculpting because I had to print her out in sections.
Mm-hmm.
So the front legs weren't connected when I printed them out.
Hmm.
With the back.
We've been talking about getting a 3D printer.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I got a resin one personally, which I really like, just because, for instance, the Muto here, I didn't do any sanding, nothing. Outside of doing some of the sculpting to connect the pieces, it was just I painted it, called it a day. And the only thing that sucks with the resin is how much there's a lot of cleanup.
Oh, gotcha. Well, it turned out really good. Yeah, we gotta get a printer. So let's help somebody out here. This is a fix it corner. My Monster Arts Godzilla 2019's leg decides to pop off for no reason. Is there any way to fix it? Fixer Steve, what do you have to say about this?
Usually with this stuff, you can what I would do is for the ball joint for the leg, you could add some super glue over top of it and give it a little bit of extra thickness. So then hopefully that'll give enough friction to keep it in the ball joint. And then if it's still loose, you could add another layer and just kind of keep going. You just got to make sure not to connect it while it's still wet.
Yeah. Or, I mean, sometimes I connect it and just work it. And that kind of gets it in the joint itself too. That's what
Yeah,
I've
because
done.
sometimes it might not even have like inset all the way enough,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how the joint is.
Yeah.
Because like this stuff's like giant production runs, so there's gonna be a little bit of errors between certain like each of the figures.
Wow, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and then that's just straight printed, and then I just glued the legs on.
That's awesome, man. I gotta do that. What's this? Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
some of those
there's
figure
the
arts figures are
monstrous
cool.
Charizard.
What'd you think?
My first 112.
What'd you think of it?
It's actually really good. Like I was pleasantly surprised with it because it's pretty much sort of like a NECA, but I'd say like the detailing's a little bit nicer. And then I like the use of the cloth for it for the jacket and stuff. Like the jacket and pants are all cloth,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks right because usually sometimes with the cloth figures they either look kind of baggy or you can definitely tell like the material wasn't really meant to be kind of worked that small.
Mm-hmm.
While with this, like everything kind of fits perfectly nice.
It looks really good. Have you thought about doing any like figure? Like you did the, your first figure was the Don Fry figure, but like now that you have more experience, have you thought of doing any other like characters, maybe including some like soft goods and stuff?
Soft goods I have a bit of a problem. Like I'm not very good at like sewing and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of the materials for it right now. And every time I've tried, it's usually been mostly a failure. Outside of like I did the spawns, like we did the capes for those.
Mm-hmm.
Those turned out good, but there isn't really that much you really got to do. Like I honestly it was like fabric heat tape, a hair, an iron, and some scissors, and you can get it done with some wiring. But like the Don Fry, like I just like the clothing for him was just repurposed from another figure. And then there was the Guyver, which originally I was trying to do clothing using soft goods underneath, just because it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
Just using some like force stretch fabric, but I had the hardest time trying to figure it out, so I ended up just sculpting it all.
That figure's so awesome.
That pretty much just looks like a really big, like pretty much just like a bigger, older NECA.
That's awesome. I love how that looks. And we need more Guyver figures for sure.
Heck yeah, especially movie.
Yeah, let's get them out there. Kaiju Killer 98 also said, I envy Steve's huge city diorama. It's a true work of art.
Oh, thank you. That one was really fun. It was like, it took me about a month to get that thing all put together.
That's really
Especially
nice.
with all like the cutting of the foam, had to print it all out, and it was just like a lot of gluing.
Yeah. Gabriel says, hey, Steve, ever thought about opening a subreddit and doing meme reviews?
Personally, no. I haven't really, like, to be honest, I don't really do like anything Reddit wise. So
Yeah, me neither. I tried Reddit for a little bit and I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, for the most part, there's a lot of memes just like in our videos to begin with like the skits and what have you.
The skits are, very memeable. Radix says, out of the 4 NECA Kongs available, which one do you recommend? Well,
the one that's going to come out eventually that has all the accessories in it.
What is up with that? How do we have so many Kongs already?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Gypsy Danger problem, right? Where we had like 8 of them of the same figure, but you get like one different arm, or this one has the swords, this one has the plasma cannon, this one's got some battle damage.
I just wish this, the 2 that are out now, like the Kong, like maybe include a different head. Like it's the same Kong in both sets. One is just the New York set, one is the Skull Island set. And I don't know if I've heard anybody having the New York set yet, finding that one yet. I haven't really.
I saw somebody on one of the groups I follow found one. Like his target ended up putting out like that and like the Thing figure and stuff early. But other than that, like I haven't seen.
Yeah, I saw the Thing figure. Yeah, I saw that one. That one looks really good, actually.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that. Like that's one of the ones I'm actually hoping they make more stuff for. It's just not going to be like the human character Call of the Day.
Yeah, I hope so too. Going back to the Gridman stuff. Wow, I didn't know SSS Full Power Gridman was weak sauce. I will get the Figma Grid Knife for the Dyna Cannon. Well, maybe watch my review tomorrow night, Gus, because Grid Knight makes an appearance for that Dyna Cannon mode, and yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that's not good. What would your dream unreleased figure like if they were to release? Okay, what would be your dream unreleased figure?
Oh, that's a good one.
Something that's not been released, or something that's been redone.
Yeah, I'd have to think on that one. So I'm trying to think of like some random movies that haven't really got anything. That would be really cool to see. Like, I guess one of my like movies I really like from my childhood, but like you never really see anything from it, like is probably Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And to be honest, I'd probably like to see something with like the something done with like the arachnids done in more like a NECA style.
Mm-hmm. Did you get the Figma ones? I can't remember.
Yeah. It's a solid figure, not for the price.
Right. Yeah, that's, man. What is it with Good Smile? It's like I feel like I like more often than not I'm saying that, like, you know, whenever I get something from whatever subline they do, I'm usually going, that was not worth the price. You know, it's a weird thing, but from the beginning with me, like, there's been most of my experiences with their figures have been like middle of the road to poor. I can't remember one like super excellent figure right now. I'm sure there is, but I can't remember.
Like a lot of the anime ones are usually really good, at least for me.
Yeah.
But it's usually like when they do like the offshoot stuff, like for instance the Starship Troopers ones, they always seem to like either up the price or it comes with like the minimalist amount of stuff with it.
Yeah.
Which always hurts. And even like some of the anime stuff, like I know the Goblin Slayer one was a bit disappointing because again, like the lack of stuff that came with it. But then you had like the old like Puella Magica figures. Those things are phenomenal.
That's cool.
Like with the amount of stuff that they came with, and I remember I was picking those up for like $30 or less at the time.
That's awesome. No, I know. I mean, like you're definitely right, because I know multiple people that collect a lot of the anime stuff that just like swear by them. You know, it's just not one of those things that like I collect too many things of. So like the experiences I had, like, you know, have all been like, eh.
Yeah, because even like the popular ones, like the My Hero ones, are just kind of okay, right? With the stuff that they come with. Yeah. I don't know if you picked up any of that.
No, I haven't.
Some of the newer ones have been better, but like the Deku one was just kind of like whatever. Like the cool one was the one that was the exclusive. But like Konosuba, for instance, like all those figures have been really great because they pretty much come with most everything you'd want, and then the more they've released, the more stuff it kind of builds onto them.
I really wanted to get the Kill la Kill figures. Those all looked really good.
Yeah, those are really solid too because you get like the extra swords and everything with them.
Like is to bring back my wife into the conversation. It was always one of those things where like I feel like if I got those figures, my wife would be like, "Why'd you get those figures?"
Like, thankfully, my wife likes the show.
Yeah, so, you know, that's good. See, that's the one thing that's, you know, that you definitely got that you know I don't have. Is like my wife really isn't into a lot of the stuff that I'm into. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, there's always some question, which is good. You know, it's good to, you know, keeps me on my toes. It's good to have questions about that. Dominic, real quick, a dream on release figure. I'll just answer one just to, you know, so that question doesn't go unanswered. I want a Showa Jaguar in the SH Monster Arts line. Like, give me something, you know, or Figure Arts, whatever they want to do with it. Give me a really articulated Jet Jaguar, please, really, really soon. There's a resurgence for Jet Jaguar. So, yeah, I want to see it.
It's the only thing we don't have right now.
Yeah, like I really need it. Here's a really general question from Mecha G Films. What made y'all get into figure reviews? Steve?
For me, it was
and follow that up with like how you got the channel going, because I wanted to ask that, so it's kind of like the combo.
Yeah, it works. So initially, when I started collecting back up, I was buying a lot of figures, but for the most part, it was just me that was really that really got to enjoy them, right? Because I didn't really have like people coming over checking out the stuff, and I really liked the items. It almost felt kind of like a waste, just them just being sitting on my shelf all day and not really doing anything with them. And then after watching some toy reviewers, because checking them out to see if the figures were worth buying, I was like, well, this seems kind of like a fun little thing. And then finding out, like, because at the time I was buying a lot of Godzilla stuff and anime, and seeing other people talking about stuff, and then also seeing that that's a viable thing that you can do. So that's kind of what got me kind of springboard. I'm like, well, maybe I'll pick up a camera. We'll try it out, see how it goes. And then it was also when starting the channel, the reason why Arnez got involved is we were talking about maybe trying to do something YouTube related to begin with. And I was like, well, why don't we do the toy reviews? Because something that you don't see too often is you don't get multiple opinions in one video at the time. So I was like, well, that'd be kind of something unique. And then the skits started off because we just started playing with the toys at the beginning of the video. And then it just kind of devolved into just messing around with them more after that.
Do you feel that the skits like kind of helped? Like I've always noticed like people really revolve around like sketches and stuff like that. Like really like come together with, around stuff. Like whenever I do anything funny, because I don't do a lot of funny, whenever I do a little bit of anything, I always get comments on it. Like, and a lot of comments of like, why don't you do more of that stuff? I was like, well, it's not really, if it was me, like I would do it all the time, but like, I'll fit it in when I feel like it just comes naturally and I just want to get it out there. But like, I feel like that's a big part of your channel.
It definitely helps. I think a lot of it, because for the most part, like when they're going to click on your video, a lot of it is going to be your thumbnail. Like your thumbnail, your title's kind of what got them to the video to begin with.
Definitely.
And then the skit really helps with the commenting, because a lot of people will comment on it. And then that'll kind of boost you up in the algorithms a bit. And then also it helps with rewatchability, because people will come back and want to check out the skits.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then it's also just like, it's just kind of just something fun and definitely unique when we first started it.
Yeah, like I mean, it works for you guys because you can do a lot of different voices.
Try to, anyways.
Well, I think it's fun. Like, there's a lot of like classic, like 80s and 90s animation that I hear inside your voices when you're doing that stuff.
Yeah, definitely try to keep it a little bit more on the cartoony side than anything else. Because for us, like the serious doesn't work.
I understand. It's definitely something I wanted to ask about and to see how you feel about it, because I feel like that's like, it again, like it's something that I'm always like kind of struggling with. Like, not that I'm struggling with it, but like even my wife is like, oh, why don't you do more of this? And I just kind of want to stay me, so it's like I kind of fight that balance of like, okay, I should try to put a little bit here and there in, but I don't want it to be like overwhelming. I just never know when the right time is, or how much or how little. I don't know, it's one of those things.
Yeah, especially like the way I feel like with YouTube is you just kind of should just like, you should just do you, right? Like it just especially with the videos, like especially like when you try to force something, like people are going to notice.
Yeah,
for the most part. So like, a lot of it, trying to think of the best way to say this, but like I just want to try to keep it as real as possible for what we do.
Yeah, no, I think it works for you guys. I mean, because it works for you guys also because of the way you guys are a tag team.
Yeah,
like that helps. That always helps with anything like comedic when there's like a 2-person operation like that, because your conversations when you're just like doing like a figure review or whatever is like, you naturally bounce off each other.
Yeah, well, so you got some. Yeah, I was gonna say you got something to bounce off, especially with the comedy elements, which definitely helps a lot. Then it just helps also to kind of keep the conversation flowing too. So maybe like I might have forgot to start talking, so he just keeps on going with it, or he has
Mm-hmm.
some kind of extra input to put into it, which also helps.
No, that's good, man. So I was saying in there, like it sounds like you filter a lot of like different animation through some of those voices. What was some like animes or like other animated series that you loved, growing up and like kind of helped form like who you are now?
Yeah, a lot of it is mainly just growing up in the '90s. So, uh, like stateside cartoon wise, it was always like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You had whatever was on Nickelodeon in the morning. So you had like the Rugrats, Ren and Snippy,
Mm-hmm.
Rocko's Modern Life, stuff like that. And then even kind of getting a little older, you got like Gargoyles, Dark Knight, the original Batman series. And then anime wise, I remember when I was 5, first watching Vampire Hunter D. I think it was like my original anime experience. Because my
Wow.
mom was like, "Hey, here's a cartoon at like 7 o'clock at night. Go watch it. It's on Sci-Fi Channel." I'm like, all right, keep me entertained. So that got scarred in my mind.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was a lot of like whatever popped up on Sci-Fi I would check out because they had like Gigantor and stuff back in the day. And then some of the other channels would play like Bubblegum Crisis, Gunsmith Cats. There's like some of the older like 80s animations.
Yeah.
And then moving on to Toonami was probably when I really started getting into anime outside of like Sailor Moon whenever it would pop up in the morning. Because initially I started watching like Tenchi Muyo. That's when you had Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball Z, and then it just kind of moved on from there.
Mm-hmm. What do you like right now that's out there?
Currently, some of my favorite ones is like Konosuba. There's Kaguya-sama Love is War. Demon Slayer is really good. But it kind of just goes all over the place. Like I really like Kill la Kill. There's the SSSS Gridman was really good.
Yeah, it really was.
Some of the ones this season I've been watching is How Not to Summon a Demon Lord has been all right. Starting to draw a blank. There's Don't Toy With Me, Ms. Nagataru, I think is how you say it. My Hero Academia is probably one of the bigger ones I've been watching.
I just started watching Back Arrow.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, like there's kind of like there's a goofiness to it, obviously, and then there's like, there's like a mecha aspect, but the mecha aspect is more like Ultraman, the way it's done. It's really interesting in that way. Like,
because I think I watched one episode, because that's the one with like the girls wearing the cowboy hat, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the main guy's like super over the top.
Yep.
No, that one was cool. I definitely want to check into it more. I got to get back to the Funimation subscription. So like Dynazenon, I've only watched one episode so far. And
we just got the Funimation subscription for Dynazenon. Like I was like, no, I gotta watch. Like I gotta watch that as it comes out. And so we've been watching that. So I was like, well, I should start watching some other stuff on here. Like,
so Funimation's got a really good lineup.
So yeah, I'm gonna be checking out some more stuff. But Back Arrow was the first thing I've been watching. On top of Dynazenon. It's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I saw the figure arts got announced for those, and that's what kind of got me. I was like, well, I'll go check out one episode and see how it is.
Yeah.
And then the subscription got canceled because I think our Nez was doing that one. I was watching it through my phone. That one, and there's a anime called No Gun, No Life. I have to finish watching the second season of that one. That one's pretty good. Interesting.
Is there any other anime that you would recommend for not just myself, but like, since we're, we have a lot of Godzilla fans, a lot of like robot fans here, like any animes along those lines? That's why I started watching Back Arrow, because at least I had something like that, and it'll probably like, not just like get my interest, but like my son's interest, who's 7. So any other animes like that in the like last few years that you would recommend?
It's hard for like the giant monster stuff because for some odd reason you don't really see too much anime
Yeah.
of actual like kaiju stuff. Like it's pretty much like Gridman's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
And then Dynazenon. Because personally for me, I don't really watch too much of the like even the giant robot animes. I usually don't get super into outside of like a few of the Gundam series. Like checked out Goran Login, Darling the Franxx, which is
I watched a few episodes of that. It was interesting. I wouldn't say I got completely into it because I stopped watching it, but like it was interesting.
I really liked it to do the first half of the series, and then the second half of the series just kind of like goes 100 miles an hour, and you just run with it because they just start tossing like all these new concepts and everything, and it's just like, but we spent 12 episodes building all this character development, and then just out the window.
definitely some interesting mecha designs in that series. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love the designs. Like Studio Trigger does a really awesome job on their characters. Like, it's one of the big things with Kill la Kill is just everybody's really unique. And
I mean, no, like Kill la Kill is like, as far as Studio Trigger, that's like Studio Trigger to the max because everything is just like balls to the wall, like crazy. And that's what, like, you know, I loved that series because of that.
Yeah, it's an awesome series, but it's also one you don't want like your mom walking in on.
Nope.
Which there's quite a few of them I've seen that's been like that I've enjoyed, but because like Monster Musume is probably the biggest one, which actually has a Godzilla reference in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the girls, I forget what she absorbs, but she gets huge and she actually has Godzilla spines.
Oh wow, that's cool.
You know, Slime Girl.
You ever think about doing a custom of that?
Oh, I tried. I got a model kit a long time ago that I still have to finish. That I kind of got frustrated working on. I just kind of sat on the back burner ever since. But it would be a cool one, like especially if I could find like a 3D file to print and then just modify it.
So I've been talking to my wife about the only custom I would love to do, like, and I know we could do it because she, you know, sews and stuff. Is, and I forget the character's name, but from My Hero Academia, the Godzilla guy.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one. I've had a few people ask me to do that one.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. Like, I want to do that one. That'd be really cool. Well, I would like somebody to put out a figure of that. That would be excellent.
It's like for the most part, you just need like a Godzilla 2000 figure.
Yeah,
if I'm remembering the head right.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's very similar. Got some comments here that from Captain McKay Random, who was on my last Ultrazilla Live. That color scheme on the Rathalos is awesome. Mike Zilla said, I need that cute 3D printed baby turtle. Have you ever thought about printing some stuff for sales?
The problem with like this kind of stuff, because I've had a bunch of people ask me for the Kamibas and this guy.
Yeah, I would buy him in a second.
Yeah, due to copyrights, I can't just sell them the way they are. Because like I paid for the file and it's royalty free technically, but you're still you still get in trouble for just straight printing it. Now, say if I want to make it to an action figure and cut the joints and put articulation, that changes it enough to where it should be okay. But then I got to sit down and figure out how to actually do all of that. And so far, I'm like, this is about as creative as I gotten so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, have you messed around like with any programs to like, you know, try to make some other stuff?
Yeah, it's been a little bit on Blender doing some things, but it's the one thing I found out is even just doing this, like this was just a couple hours of me messing around, trying to just get the right kind of look. And that's let alone trying to figure out how to add extra mass to the arm to make it where it would sort of work with a ball joint and such like that. And that's the one thing like I'd have to sit down and really kind of get into, which I'm hoping to start trying to do on my vacation coming up. Same with I want to try to get some more beams and stuff set up, so then if I do decide to sell them, at least there's a little bit of variety.
Yeah. No, totally. We got a question for you from the Alone Bacon. Wow. I got a question for Steve. Is it worth buying something you don't want, but the fans want you to review?
I try to minimize that as much as possible, because for the most part, everything that shows up on the channel, I've wanted.
Yeah, same here.
I would say probably the only thing is the Playmates guys. I probably wouldn't have went as hard into it if it wasn't for YouTube. But at this point, it's more beneficial for me just to grab them, and then if I decide I don't want to keep them, I just could get rid of them at this point.
Just, no, I hear that, man. That's the same thing like with the Playmates. I mean, for me, that particular thing started like with the last movie with the Lanyard, not Lanyard. Who did less? Jax, right? Like, you know, I was like, you know what? I might as well try to get them and see how they do. And they did really good. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess I should get every cheap toy that comes out.
Yeah, that's the one thing too. Like the Godzilla video wise, it always seems like how if the figure, the cheaper the better for views.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure why, but like X pluses, I would think like if you're gonna put so much money into it, you'd really want to check out a video on it, right? But those just like
the case. It's
yeah, they just do okay.
Yeah, no, same here. I mean, like I don't collect hard. I only buy like a few X pluses here and there. You know, and definitely. You know, having featured a bunch on the channel, like I compared them to some other Godzilla stuff, like what we're talking about here, Jax, Playmates, and it pales in comparison for views. And I think that's because the larger portion of the buying audiences that we have, like, you know, don't want to spend a ton of money. You know, like though the X Plus community, the more expensive you go, the smaller the community is.
Yeah, which is true.
Yeah. So
initially, when I got what my thinking of when I was picking them up for doing videos was because of the community just in general. Like you think it would be just because it's Godzilla, they check it out, and then also the review would kind of help, but not really the case on those ones.
Yeah.
Outside of like rare instances.
Yeah. Or if you're like someone like deeply in the community. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll like come check out your video more, for sure. Got another fixing question here. The wrist peg for my NECA Predator broke. Do I super glue it, or is there a better way?
It depends on the. I'd have to actually look at the joint. Usually, with broken pegs, the one thing I do is you if you have a Dremel, you could take a small drill bit, drill a little bit of the peg into the peg. Then you drill into the peg that's in the hand and you use that as a support, and then you glue it together. So a little bit of glue, and then that'll help you have some support so the glue won't break when you try to pose it.
There you go.
But it depends on how much room there is to drill.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with NECA figures, it's like this is something that everybody should know because it's like, You get outside the Godzilla line, like you get more breaks. I don't know why the Godzilla line. I think I had 1 or 2 breaks in the entire line. One was like Mothra because the wing, you know, were so like flimsy. And
yeah, that and the Rodan.
Yeah, did my Rodan break? Yeah, it was kind of flimsy, but like I don't think my Rodan broke, but like my Mothra did.
Yeah, I never had issues with the breakage for them, but I've had. Like the Rodan, the stand was so jank that I felt like if I wasn't, if I would apply more pressure, I would have had some issues. So it's just one of those I just kind of leave alone. Pacific Rim's probably the worst one for me in terms of breakage.
Yeah, a lot of breaks on that line. But I think I've had more breaks in the Predator line. Whenever I've gotten a Predator, it's always been like something's like broken off, popped off something.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Yeah. And then like various figures. My Michael Myers broke, like my Terminator broke, like so like there's like so many that have gone that have broken. Speaking of NECA, have you all seen the bootleg NECA GMK camo painted figures?
I think I did see that pop up the one time. Yeah,
I think I saw it like when I was looking at stuff on AliExpress, but I didn't get it, and I don't think I've seen it since.
I don't think I've seen one in hand, but
no, definitely not.
Also, it's kind of just crazy how much bootlegs there are just in general now. Like the variety of bootleg you can get. Because sometimes I was just like, I had to worry about my random figure being fake, and now you get like, there's actually like variety in what you can get with like with the color schemes. And
now they don't care. It's just like, here you go, you know, here's whatever. You know, it's a bootleg, and it's a market for it.
Well, I was gonna say it almost makes it like desirable at that point because now you got like there's like another color variant for my NECA Godzilla.
yeah. I mean, like there's that like, you know, the Ready Player One Mecha Godzilla. That's we don't know what it is quite yet. Third party.
Yeah, if it's a
bootleg
third party,
NECA.
then possible.
Yeah.
I would say mine just shipped, so I'm hoping to see that.
It's really good, dude. It's really good. Like, I mean, if it's a NECA figure and they have teased that it is, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the Twitter comment and I was just like, all right. Usually they're pretty good. Like usually if they see some kind of like copyright version, they usually mention about it, but
yeah, I think it's interesting. It's the figure itself though doesn't feel quite like some of the other NECA bootlegs, because I know we've both gotten NECA bootlegs. It doesn't feel like that. It feels a lot more quality than that. So, except just a warning, it's gonna be tacky. Probably.
Oh, okay.
Like at least mine was. And I've heard that before. Like some people complaining about that. Like when I did my review, my fingers were like black.
Oh, yeah, it's probably whatever they sealed it with.
Yeah,
because I know
or didn't seal it.
Yeah, it was like working on figures. If depending on the material, what you clear coat it with, like for instance, if the figure's got if it's a softer texture, like the Jurassic Park figure tails is usually my biggest example. Is if you try to use like a can spray, whatever material that's in that spray, it never wants to cure. So it gives you that tacky texture. But like for what I do with the airbrush and the Mod Podge, I never had an issue. But I've done when I first started off doing some of the Jurassic Park customs, I would just use regular acrylic primer, or not primer, clear coat, go over top of it. And I always had issues with the arms, the tails, and the feet would never cure.
So that's possible. Like that, what's going on here is like some sort of, it's like a paint. Now it's fine. I don't even know where mine is, but my son comes in here all the time. He's like moving stuff around all the time. I know you mentioned gargoyles before. Are you guys looking forward to the NECA gargoyles? I definitely am going to get Goliath. I don't know if I'm going to go deeper than that because my only gargoyle figure was of Goliath. So I'd like to get Goliath again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it would. I definitely would get probably the main cast. I don't know, because I've severally seen some people share oh man, look at all the figures that they could do, and I'm like, maybe the top one I would go with. But some of the other later in the series characters and stuff be I don't know if I want to go into as hard as turtle cartoon stuff, but
yeah, calm down with the turtle stuff is just too much.
Oh yeah, it's I had to stop collecting the cartoon stuff. I ended up selling it all.
No,
I just gonna stick with movie figures and call it a day because it's hard enough trying to get all of them.
Yeah, I hear you, man. No, I had to stop altogether. I'll buy one every once in a while, but it's not easy for me to find them anyway. So it's the living in NYC is great, except when you need a lot of Targets for collecting and a lot of Walmarts, because I got no Walmarts and the Targets never have anything here, as far as NECA and stuff, even though we're super close to NECA's home base. It's ridiculous.
Right? I'm just looking around here, the Target's literally across the street from the Walmart, so you just gotta
drive
awesome. Across the street, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's really good. When Toys R Us was around, the NECA rep was there every Tuesday or Wednesday, all the time, always stocked. One of the big reasons why I miss Toys R Us is that
I miss it super hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's also just all the exclusives were them. Nobody really not a lot of other places really got them in or got them in general, especially NECA. So it was just it was your nice one-stop shop to get all your figures. And now I got to go to 4 different places to hopefully fan out my collection.
Yeah. Do your guys' Monster Arts Godzilla tails be loose? Because my Burning Godzilla 2019 tail is so loose. I don't think that figure is loose on mine.
Yeah, most of them are usually really good. Some of the older releases, like the 2000, has a really floppy tail.
Yeah.
The 14, I think, also did too. But for the most part, they're usually pretty, the Shin Godzilla tail still holds its pose, which still blows my mind. because of how much the weight that thing has on it. But,
yeah, no,
I
haven't had a problem with the tails. I had problems with other stuff, but not the tails.
Yeah, I'll say the new one, the 2021, the tail on mine sags a bit.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
The Alone Bacon, I got a question for Steve. Do you care if you spend your money if you don't want... Oh, yeah, we did this one already. Right? Or it's like a variation
sort of the same
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's a question for you. Did you feel like, because I'm getting a lot of different answers on this, did you feel like the 21 SH Monster Arts was was it like, how much difference do you feel the figures have between them? The 2019 to the 21, and then there's variance in between there that also introduced new aspects that all made it into this 21 that I don't think a lot of people were aware of. Like that new head was actually on the burning and the clear blue one. So it's like
honest, I didn't even really notice that, to be fair.
Yeah. So it's like I can't, except for the hands, like I can't find any difference in this new figure except for the paint and the hands. Because the head came from the one before. Yeah,
because we usually like that kind of stuff we say for the like the collectible wars kind of videos where we actually like fully like break down which ones. Because to me it seemed like he was slightly different, but not enough to where I feel like if you had the poster version of 2019 or even just the old 2019 figure, unless you really wanted the blue spines, there wasn't really much of a point in picking them up.
Yeah.
Like the hands are neat, but like it doesn't have a beam, and you can get the 2019 that had a beam with it.
That's true.
I feel like that's just a better accessory.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's things about that figure that's interesting because it's like the fit is different. Like for whatever reason, I don't know if they changed the interior joints, like the arms slot in a little bit differently, and it makes it feel like it's very different, but it's really not. It's like when you look at the details, it's like all the details are the same, which is very interesting. But it still feels like a new figure, which is cool. Steve, is that a Street Sharks shirt?
It's actually got a lot of things on it. It's like an old fighting game kind of setup, but it's got like you got Toxic Avenger. There's Biker Mice from Mars. There's a SWAT Cats is on there.
That's awesome.
Stream Dinos.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, I think she got that one off Redbubble, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. Do you think a Hot Toys Godzilla figure would work? Possibly.
It could. It'd be expensive because you figure it'd be sort of like you ever picked up any of like the Real Action Hero figures?
No, I never did.
I would assume it'd be something similar to that, where if you're gonna do it, it probably would have a suit, right? Over top of it. So all the joints would be hitting and then it would flex.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
But you'd definitely be looking probably more at least 500 range for one of those, I would think. Like definitely be more than an X Plus. Because I know my only real Hot Toys experience is I have the Battle Angel Alita, and that thing's like $200 and just a stagnant, just a figure with some clothes on it.
Yeah, I have a Jack Burton. That's like my only, and that was Sideshow, but same thing. You know, like it's awesome, but I couldn't see myself getting more than that. I just want the Jack Burton because I love Big Trouble in Little China, and there's like really nothing of him.
It was like the Elite. I only really got that because there's just nothing for that movie. Like, period. And I wanted something, so I was like, all right, I guess we're going to dive some money into it.
Sometimes you got to do it. An Arnez Hammer time shirt t-shirt on Teespring would be awesome.
I know I definitely need to update our shirt stuff because we do have a few things of Redbubble, but like Teespring would probably be better because you can actually link it with YouTube, and currently I can't do that with the Redbubble. That's we even made some masks and stuff, but
I gotta start doing stuff like that. I haven't gotten there yet. I keep saying like I have like certain things I want to do. Like I just keep saying I'm just gonna work my tail off on this, like on the content, and and not do anything like that till I'm at like 10K. And it's just like it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like I'm running this like marathon that's like not, where's the finish line?
Yeah. And then it's kind of the same thing with like, at least from our experience doing that stuff, like the custom commission stuff does really great, but when we do like the t-shirts and some things, even with like the Redbubble or even when I just had some in person, for the most part, you only really like how much time you spent on designing the shirts and stuff doesn't really translate to how many people actually really wanted the stuff, even though if they talk about it.
That's the thing with all of that stuff. It's just like you just don't know, like, I mean, when is the right time? Like I've seen people with like smaller channels than me doing a lot more like stuff like that, even doing Patreon and stuff. But I just feel like I don't want to ask anybody for anything until I get to a certain point. That's just like how, I feel about it, like just try to build the channel, just by building like the channel, just like nonstop putting out stuff, so get people to, jump aboard that way.
Yeah, because we may have set it up just so that like if you wanted it, it's there. But we try not to like focus super hard on like be like, hey, you need to go to Patreon, blah 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 blah. It's just like, hey, if you do, there's some stuff up there, but if you don't, that's fine too.
Kaiju King, thank you so much. Class channels.
Thank you.
Radix, are there the NECA Kong joints fragile on it? No, surprisingly, they're really, really, really good. That was my favorite figure of last year. Like of anything, like I'm a big Kong fan, so getting a really good Kong figure was like a dream. And that was like way better than I expected. It was like, to me, it was like leaps and bounds better than their Godzilla line in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why a lot of people tell me, they're like, "Oh, I missed the NECA Godzilla line." I'm just like,
yeah,
like it was fine, but there was other options that were like just as good. Like towards the end of the NECA run, it was great. Like the 89 Godzilla is awesome, but getting to that point has been kind of a slog.
No, I agree, man. Oh, I didn't realize this. Back Arrow is really good. Gurren Lagann and the Wild West, same writer. Ah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. That's pretty cool. I hadn't really had a chance to really look into the series and who was doing it, but yeah, it's good. I could see that actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say after watching that first episode, there's similarities for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you all think we will get a consistent Godzilla series again after the MonsterVerse? Toho was impressive for making back-to-back movies each year back in the day. I would love to see it, I would love to see Toho. I don't know about pumping out. I don't know if they'll ever pump out year after year movies just because that's not feasible anymore. Budget-wise, like it's just impossible to do. But I would love to see Toho do a series again, like every 2 years, every 2.5, 3 years, another movie. I mean, why not? I mean, if like Legendary, they did it every 2 years, pretty much, right?
Pretty much,
yeah.
Almost. Yeah. If you toss Conan, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to see it. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see it be too serious though. Like I want to see like fun kaiju movies.
Yeah, just kind of like take it back to like some of the the older like 60s and 70s Godzillas.
Yeah.
Because the only way I can see them pumping out year after year is if they go back to doing suitmation.
Yeah, no, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Because then you could, at least then you'd have like, you wouldn't really have to update the Godzilla suit that much for each of the movie. While doing CG, I have a hard time believing they're going to be able to do an entire movie in a year properly anyways.
I'm scrolling down. There's I'm a bit behind, guys, on the comments. Thank you for all the comments. Tango Zero 2019 Ultrazilla. Do you have the Ultima Godzilla? Yes, I reviewed that. You could check it out on the channel. It's pretty cool. If you guys didn't see, there's a second Godzilla Ultima coming with the mouth open, with better paint completely. That's coming out with the first set of Blu-rays, of the show. Like, but if you guys know how they release Blu-rays in Japan, they only release of anime. They only do a few episodes at a time. Like, so it's like the first 5 episodes. So it's first 5 episodes.
I think it's 4
and
or
a
5,
figure,
yeah.
and it's a lot of money. But I am getting it because I'm stupid.
I was thinking about it, but it's a lot of money for just a band. Like, because it's cool that you get the DVD stuff, but I just want it for the Bandai vinyl.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, no, I'm not happy about it, but I did it. But I did it through CD Japan, which was cheaper.
Okay.
The Godzilla store one there was like an extra like acrylic stand in the Godzilla store version, and that like raised it like $30. So yeah. So I was like,
Nice,
I was
man.
definitely not getting it for $150, but like I believe CD Japan was like either $110 or $120. And I was just like, oh, and it has the figure? Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'll get it for that. I could always sell all the Blu-ray stuff on eBay. Somebody will buy it.
Which is true.
Yeah, so it is one of those things where I just really I like that design a lot. I know there's going to be an SH Monster Arts at some point of it, but I still like what Bandai did with that vinyl, and to get one that's like a little better, that would be kind of cool.
There's one thing, I haven't seen the anime yet, but like I love all the designs in it.
Yeah, the designs are fun for sure.
That's why I kind of don't mind just like randomly buying the vinyls without having to see the series, because it looks good enough.
No, I hear you. Is there any chance of Steve making a collection tour video?
We've done a couple. I definitely need to update it, but that'll be down the road, because I plan on reorganizing a lot of this stuff. So maybe after that, because then everything will be like nice and clean.
Yeah, I'd love to do one, but I still have not gotten this place clean yet. It's just a constant work in progress.
Yeah, because my upstairs doesn't change too much, but down here, like it fluctuates all the time.
It's like, when you're constantly getting stuff in, and like, I think folks don't. I think when you have a channel, you just like end up getting more stuff. It's just one of those things where between stuff to feed the channel, because you like feeding the channel in a way, like between that and just your own collecting habits, like we've said, there's a lot of stuff on our channels that you haven't seen. You just end up getting a lot of stuff, and then there are certain companies that do end up sending us stuff as well. I don't get too many. Like DST is like the one like constant that always sends me stuff, but then I'll have I just recently started like doing stuff for Haya Toys. They did the little Predators and Aliens, the 3 3/4 inch ones. So they sent me like a batch of stuff like late last year, and supposedly they're sending another batch of stuff now, but it's one of those things where they have like weird like emails. They'll send an email and then I'll never hear back from them. And I think I'm like, okay, I guess that's over. And then they'll send me another email. They're like, hello, this is our stuff that we have this time. Would you like to review it? I'm like, sure. Who's going to say no?
That was towards the end of the deck of Godzilla run for me. Like stuff just started showing up at my house. Yeah. I was like, oh, I got a package today. All right, sweet. I'm like, oh, it's the Godzilla I already bought like 2 weeks ago. Oh,
that's awesome. That's fun. I gotta say, that's been one of the more fun things about having the channel, is that, I mean, it's few and far between, but when it happens, it is always fun. It feels like I did something, okay, somebody's paying attention. That's good.
Right.
They trust us with their products. That's cool.
Yeah, I still say my favorite one is Comet used to send us stuff.
Oh, yeah, really it's cool.
I remember they were doing a summer thing, and I got like a young gray beach towel.
That's so awesome. That's really cool. Ultraman Trigger looks promising. explains the sudden Figure Arts Ultraman Tiga pre-order some months ago. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Trigger. I think that'll be fun to just have another Ultraman series. The Ultraman Z was awesome. Did you check in? Are you big into Ultraman at all? I can't remember right now.
I was watching a bunch of them when they were popping up on the streaming services that I had. So like Crunchyroll was having them quite a bit.
Right,
so that's how I got to watch Orb, got to watch X on there, Ginga. Well, and I started trying to backlog, but then they got rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't, from RB up, I haven't really checked it out.
Okay. The last series was great. Ultraman Z, like, Orb is where, like, I started watching stuff with my son, and he got really, like, from a really young age. Like, I mean, he's still young now. He's 7, but like from when he was really little, like he, like, for some reason you could just tell, like, he was like fixated on Ultraman, and like I have to get like all the little Ultraman figures, the little ones, which is fine because I like reviewing them for him because he loves them, and he was like said that I was just like trying to say, I don't know if I'm gonna I don't know if I'm gonna get that many of those anymore because like it's so many just like random like kaiju and stuff. But he was getting so mad at me. He's like, "What? No, those are for me." So
I
guess I still got to get them. But they're cool. They're cool. And Ultraman Z is awesome. I definitely recommend that. Ultraman Trigger should be cool if you liked Tiga. Like it, it's I think it's like Tiga's protege or son or something.
Yeah, from what I heard, I know it ties in somehow.
Yeah, it's a tie-in somehow. I forget exactly how right now. Is Nin Games legit? I've never used them. I do know Steven's Toy Reviews used them recently and had a problem with them, actually. So I don't know. I don't have any experience, so I can't say.
Yeah, as I say, I haven't used that one.
Okay, so I think we're gonna start winding it down here. Thank you for chatting, my friend. It's been really cool to talk about all this stuff.
Oh, no problem. It's glad to be here.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. What are you looking forward to before we let you go? What are you looking forward to coming out this year that's not out yet?
A lot of it's mainly like the Monster Arts releases, and like I mentioned before, like the Demon Slayer figures, I'm pretty pumped for. Because I ended up going hard into those and getting all the deluxe versions off of the Good Smile site.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I'd actually have to look at my pre-order list because I think last time I looked at my Big Bad thing, there was like 50-something figures on there. But a lot of them was just the like Power Rangers, Star Wars figures that have been coming out.
Yeah,
because especially like with the Lightning Collection series, I've been really fixated on getting those, especially the Mighty Morphins.
Yeah, me too. Those are the only ones I've been definitely like getting like everything of. Everything else has been kind of like maybe a little bit here and there.
Yeah, especially I'm kind of a little sad about that Scorpino one. Where you have to get the yellow, because you have to get the Yellow Ranger again.
Yeah, I didn't want to get it because I want I'm getting the metallic Yellow Ranger. Like I want those. Yeah. Those are all like, I mean, the Pink Ranger is so nice. So it's like I definitely want to complete that team like that. So yeah, getting another one is just like I don't know if I want another one. Yeah,
because you'd already have the Aisha anyways.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason I was getting to begin with, because of like, well, they come with the heads from like the, I guess like second season Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Would it be? So I was like, well, okay, so I'll buy these, so then I have them. But now it's like, don't really need them. And then Zeo, you also get them too, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Godzilla Geek 2004. Thank you for the super chat. So gotta put up this one. Hey Steve, what do you think of the Studio Series Slag or Slug? Did you see those pics? They look really good.
Yeah, he looks really good. We'll probably be getting them, mainly because my wife's super into the Dinobots, so pretty much anything dinosaur she generally buys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then it helps that it looks good too.
Yeah, no, totally. Are you guys excited about some of the upcoming Rebor series figures? Because I'm like super stoked about some of the Rebors that are coming out. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of like their older style dinosaurs that they're putting out. Want to get, because they have like the one that's like Land Before Time.
Yep.
There's the video game one, the ones that kind of like Primal Rage.
Yep.
I forget the dinosaur's official name, but there's the one I think that does the The Land Before Time one, I think we're just getting all the versions of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Whenever
that
we go
one
for
is
pre-order.
like, I couldn't tell if it was Land Before Time or if it was Carnosaur.
I thought it was Carnosaur when I first saw it, but I've seen a lot of people say it's Land Before Time, so I was like, I'll roll with it.
Yeah,
We'll get
whatever it
into
is, it looks great. And I want the Quanji one. That one looks awesome.
Yeah, that one looks really good. I just like that it just has the dragon tail. Like, it's just like so nostalgic. So I just...
Yeah, so cool. And you know, they're gonna be doing the Megatron styled one.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be really, really cool. So yeah, that's awesome. I love dinos. It's a good time for dino collectors too.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Godzilla stuff. Like, there's just so much variety to pick up nowadays because you have like the Jurassic World stuff's been really good, and then even that, you know, like now we're starting to get like all the Jurassic Park figures that we've been kind of wanting as a kid with like proper characters. And then you also have like Beasts of the Mesozoic. You have the Reborn statues. If you want classic stuff, like X Plus is putting out some of the older movie ones.
Yeah, Beast right here. Beast of Mesozoic. The Zuniceratops. It's just a box, but
I have to leave those to my wife because I could never pronounce any of the names properly. Well, but they look cool.
They do. They really do. They're really nice. I mean, that sculptor has done a lot of stuff for NECA.
Yeah, he did the Otachi.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
Yep. Yeah. So that guy knows what he's doing. I mean, I've only gotten one raptor and one from this series, the Ceratopsian series. I'm just kind of like, because there's so many variants, you know, like the raptors, he made so many, and these guys he made a lot of too. So I'm like, you know what, you know, I want to support, but I just can't go into this line at all fully. So like,
yeah, it's even like the new T-Rexes, like how many he's putting out of those things.
Oof. So I just been getting, I got one from the first series and one from the second series, and I'll get one T-Rex. I'll choose which one ever I think looks good, but they're really nice, really articulated guys out there. You know, if you haven't checked it out, like they're really, I mean, I only got to do one review of one raptor so far, but I will be reviewing this Zuniceratops soon. So, but yeah, they're very, very, very good. You guys should do more. You should tag team more with your wife on some of those dino reviews.
Yeah, I try to bring her in as much as possible. Like she's a little bit camera shy.
Yeah. My wife doesn't want anything to do with it at all either. Like she, you know, my son likes to be in the videos, so I guess that's good enough for some family video time.
Yeah, usually if I need my little brothers in something, yeah, they're like 100% on board. Yeah, she talked about doing some. She wanted to do like some like speed painting kind of things for YouTube. But it'd be something she wouldn't have to talk or anything. It's just, you just heard
that's what I've been trying to get my wife to do, actually, is do some of that stuff, at least on Instagram, you know, because she has a lot of friends that, like, you know, have done that. I'm like, look, they're doing, why don't you just do that? Like, if more people saw her stuff, you know, she'd be like, I think she'd be famous, honestly. She's that good. Like, you know, she does like amazing portraits and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's just I can't get her to do it. It's the same situation. I just can't get her to do it.
Yeah, even just helps to get her stuff out there for like telling my wife like she wants to get into like selling some of her paintings more. I'm like, well, that's the best way to do it. Like,
totally. Rebor Kongzilla looks wild. Oh yeah, I totally forgot he was doing that. I forgot he was doing that Kongzilla. Although I haven't seen them update that in a while, but
yeah, no, it was just like that 3D.
Yeah, it was just a 3D model. So hopefully they'll do that. I totally forgot about that. Hey, thank you. He is a cool kid. I like when he's in it. I think it's better when we do like some of the unboxings together. That's a little bit more fun because I think he gets a little nervous on the reviews. Honestly, it's funny. It's like we just did one for his latest Ultra Monster, Telesdon, last weekend. It was just like I tried to like get him to do the opening, like and he was just like totally stiff. I never seen him like that. He was like totally stiffened up like we were live. Like it was just really, really funny. I'm like, hey, dude, I was like, just talk. It's like it's just me and you here. We're not talking to anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my little brothers, they were like that when I tried to do something with them. So we ended up like just the one they decide they wanted to talk, they could talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's better. Like, unboxings are good. It's just more natural. So, yeah. Well, I think we're going to end it on this. You guys are awesome. And I think you guys are awesome as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this chat. But we've talked for a good hour and 45 minutes already. And that is pretty long. So that's pretty good. That's, it's actually about the time for these. It's about an hour and a half. But 145 is awesome because we had a lot to talk about. So really appreciate it, Steve, man. It's been really awesome to chat with you tonight. I hope we do it again soon.
Oh, it's been great.
So awesome, dude. Well, guys, thank you again for coming by. And until next time, peace out, everybody.
Have a good one.